We interviewed filmmaker Ty West, and
Yeah.
he said that, you know, filmmaking is actually, it can be a very painful process, and
Oh,
what
yeah.
he likes to do, he says, is he'll just lock himself in a room or something over a weekend and flesh out an idea, because if he didn't, he would abandon it. He would find too many holes in it.
Yeah.
How is screenwriting for you? What's your process? Is it easier as you finish the script?
The process is super complex, and it's evolved over a long period of time of how to write stuff. I definitely agree with Ty that a big part of screenwriting is forcing yourself to just create and to not analyze and to not put it into an intellectual space. I mean, my brother even talks into a dictaphone, you know, but you know, honestly, I think the best piece of advice and the toughest part about writing something, in my opinion, is the first draft. And I call it the vomit draft, where you just literally puke up. In my opinion, the best thing you can do for yourself is just to write a terrible first draft. That's got to be your mindset. It's like, what I'm about to write is going to be horrible, but it's going to allow me to have a platform to redo scenes, to build it up, to give it to my friends, let them read it, tell me how to make it better. You know, it just, you have to create the foundation, and it's all about getting it out of your head and onto a piece of paper, because once it's on a piece of paper, now you have something that exists in the world that you can share with other people. It's a theme that I've been talking about a lot, is like really getting out of your head and making the process, getting into the world. That's part of Kickstarter. Like with Kevin, is like, before we went on Kickstarter, Kevin and I were just two guys like wandering around Austin and Los Angeles and Spain, you know. But once we got people involved, it really helped us coalesce what we were trying to do, because we were getting feedback from people as to like, wow, I love just seeing you guys together. That alone is like really heartwarming. So, you know, the process of screenwriting is painful and enormous and exciting at the same time. But I just suggest, you know, just get it on the page and start working on it.
Do you do that same type of thing that Ty talked about, almost locking yourself in a room for a weekend and just vomiting out this, what you call the vomit drop, just kind of getting it all out? Because you're saying that, you know, if you wait and think about it, you know, you'll poke holes in it and
Yeah.
you'll be like, you know what, actually I've come up with a better idea.
Yeah, I don't allow myself to go back when I'm writing something. I just force myself to go all in a row. I don't necessarily go away to do it, but when I do write, I try to get it out as fast as possible, and I don't look back. It's so tempting to do it, but if you do that, you'll start rewriting and you'll start reanalyzing where you're going. I think it's super important just to keep going and to finish it, and then you can start thinking about it and analyzing it.
Because we've known so many people that they have all these great ideas, myself included, and then they abandon them because, you know what, they get bored with it.
Yeah.
Or, I don't know, maybe there's a fear in finishing stuff.
Yeah. I think it's mostly people just get bored. I get bored of ideas all the time, and you know, that's a tricky point to realize. Like, you know, a lot of people have a lot of ideas spinning in their head, and I think, you know, I've only recently come to really value my own time and like what I'm going to spend time on. It's such a critical decision which idea you're going to execute, and I think it's also important not to let ideas sit too long. You know, if they sit too long, you're probably going to get bored, and you're probably going to have churned it enough to where you don't need to explore it in screenplay form or in filmmaking form, you know.
And what about that person that has this amazing idea, they're passionate, they're in traffic, they can think of nothing else but this idea, but then it's apocalypse now, and it's their first film? What do you say to that person?
Good luck. I don't know. Yeah, I mean, it's hard. I'm not saying that someone can't come out of the gate and make Apocalypse Now or make 5 Easy Pieces or a great film, but, you know, it's real hard to make a 90-minute piece of art that's worth watching. That's my experience, is it's unbelievably hard. And if you can boil it down to the simpler elements of filmmaking, you know, I mean, it's no coincidence that most filmmakers start with very, very simple films, and then they grow in complexity over time as they become more complex, and they learn more about what works and what doesn't work and what they have to offer. So I wouldn't discourage anybody from exploring any idea, and you can certainly do it for free in screenplay form. That's the great thing about screenwriting. But I think it's also important to have ideas that are executable at the level that you're at, and that's the most important thing, because it's not about long shots and magic and stuff like. It's really just about creating work that you can share with people.
So really have, maybe have that passion, but have it be tape, something that that you can do in one room.
Yeah, or do two. Do your big $200 million movie, and then make sure you have a small one too that a couple of friends and some 5Ds could make with a $40,000 Kickstarter campaign.